If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your fatal words I will choke.
Happy Thursday to everyone in the sports universe. It is October the 6th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook pages. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carbello saying, hi, Aaron AM Drive.
Hi, good morning to you, Mike, and good morning to everyone listening or watching or tuning in all around wherever you are in the Twitter, YouTube verse. These weeks go fast, man. I feel like I was just on, but it was almost a week ago.
Ugh. Yeah, and Jambalaya Wednesdays are back, by the way, hopefully next week. But
Yes.
I do want to make a public apology because, as I tell people, our sponsors, shops, socials, and YouTube that are all found on our website, mikeandaarondrive.com. Inflation might be one of the stupidest things I've seen in my entire life. If you check our shop, it looks a lot different now. And the prices are not as amazing as they once were. That's because the bottom line for the website we use went up a bunch. So shirts, so like the mug that was $14 for a black edition is now $19. Our shirts are now $22. And the classic hoodie, which I've revamped and redone a little bit, is now like $36. So I think this promotion came just in time for you guys. Every Sunday Night Football, whichever quarterback wins, that's going to be the discount for the week. And I'll add a zero with somebody like Jalen Hurts or whatever. But enter the code Mahomes for 15% off your order in all caps on the Our Shop tab on mikeandaarondrive.com. Again, nothing I could do about it. I was like, what is wrong with this website? I was like, oh, it's not, the inflation hit them. So, yeah.
So who is it this weekend? Who's the Sunday Night Football game this weekend?
Oh, it's a good one, I think. Hold on.
We have Bengals Ravens, right?
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. If Lamar Jackson wins, is it 8% off at the shop or is it 80% off?
I'll do an 18% off.
Okay. So the quarterback thing might not be their number might not be the play here. So let's figure
it goes up to like 20. Like I won't like go higher than 19, obviously, because quarterbacks only have 19, and I won't go like lower than 10. I don't think.
Why don't we do it this way? Whoever wins, they're the promo code, but it's 15% off every week. So like if the Ravens win this weekend coming up, promo code is Lamar for 15% off of everything in the shop.
Well, we also have to make sure that people, like, we keep them guessing here. We can't just say, oh, every week, just type of the quarterback's first or last name.
Well, you just said whoever the winning quarterback is.
Yeah, but this like this week I didn't put Patrick, I put Mahomes. So gotta keep the people listening to the show here.
That's fair, I guess. All right.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. But I like Lamar though, and if Burrow wins. Zip.
If Burrow wins, it'll be the promo code will be Macaulay Culkin.
That's fair. We'll do Home Alone, 15% off.
Exactly.
Before we get into our first topic, there is something brewing, like a coffee pot. And by the way, I did make this shirt. Steroid era doesn't count. You're welcome. And there's also an Aaron Judge, a 99 edition. I don't want to profit off the Judge on the back. That'd be stupid. I put a 99 though and make profit. So Aaron Judge has hit his 62nd home run. While I am not going to put it out of the realm of possibility that he's also on steroids, he's also 6'7" and came into the league jacked. There is a serious debate going on right now, Aaron. I don't want to take away from what Aaron Judge has done. There's a serious debate right now of people who actually mean this when they say this, that Barry Bonds is the home run king. And two of the arguments I've seen, which are the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life, and you've used one of them, and I hate to say that. Number one, well, I watched them do it. I watched the Astros win. Are you stupid? And then also my favorite that you did is, oh, well, baseball profit. Good for them? Like, what does that mean for him cheating and not cheating? The dude's head exploded. He was a completely different looking human being. Well, this notion that cheating is okay because you watched it, I don't give a crap if it saved baseball or not. The dude cheated, period. End of story. I don't know what's so hard.
Based on what proof?
He admitted it. See, I saw the argument made too, and him and his agent both admitted it if you look it up.
He never tested positive one time.
Oh, well. He admitted that he did it.
So if you're on trial for murder and everybody believes you did it, we should just hang you at that point?
Well, O.J. Simpson, a lot of people wish they would hang him, so yeah.
Well, a lot of people wish they would, but yet the guy still plays golf in Florida after he probably murdered a woman and a dude.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
That's not the way it works. The point being is that the fact of the matter is that he never tested positive for a single steroid. And actually, the two that saved baseball was not Barry Bonds. It was McGwire and Sosa. And they did test positive, and it was pretty ugly. The fact of the matter is like the home run king is still Barry Bonds. You allowed him as a league to do it. You have allowed that record to stand continuously for, I don't remember what year he actually broke the record. I want to say it was like 07 or 08, but that doesn't sound right. So you've allowed the record to stand. Nobody's changing this record. If you want to incorporate a steroid era portion of the Hall of Fame, or if you want to if you want to keep them out of the Hall of Fame, that's fine. But you can't take away the fact that he still hit a baseball.
That's the third argument I've seen. Well, it's very hard to hit a baseball. No, it's not. When you've done it your entire life, it is not hard. I get like the average human being like me and Aaron could not do it. But me and Aaron, since we were babies, have been hitting fastballs. Yes, we could do it when we get older. I'm sorry. That's what training does for you. It's so hard. No, it's not. When he made contact, it's out the park.
Well, then here's a question. If you're roping all these steroid guys in, anybody who's hit over 50 home runs in the last 30 years has been popped. And we just think Judge is clean. We just think Judge is clean, like no strings attached.
I don't at all. I'm just saying, like, until it comes out, that's the thing. Major League Baseball, it pisses me off because they're hypocritical about it, like you said.
And they're happy to profit off of it.
Which I think doesn't matter to the cheating aspect, but still, they need to just embrace the cheating because it's a league of sorry players who cheat. Like whether they're banging trash cans, whether they're shooting themselves with steroids.
Well, that's your other arguments debunked too, because you're like, oh well, I saw the Astros play. Yeah, they still have a World Series ring,
which is again stupid.
Again, the MLB gives them the ring. They don't vacate it. They don't vacate the title. I mean, they've only vacated one title, and that was over 100 years ago. And nobody remembers it until we bring it up, like for things like this. Like if they actually grew the stones and vacated the title for the Astros,
grew the stones.
I don't know. You might have some respect for MLB, but the problem is they embrace it until all of a sudden it's become a sloppy mess on their plate.
I agree.
And then they're like, oh, steroids, oh, banging trash cans, let's give them $1 million fine. Like they don't give a damn.
I know they don't.
So
I don't think $1 million fine bothers the Astros either.
$1 million fine doesn't bother any team. That's a drop in the bucket. But as far as I'm concerned, Barry Bonds is the home run king of the Major League Baseball, and Aaron Judge is the home run king of the American League.
Somebody said, why can't we just call AL NL? Which I think is, again, like one of those weird things. Like, why? It's like calling someone a quarterback record AFC or NFC. Like, no, we're not going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because if you want to keep these guys out of the Hall of Fame as some trying to hold us on to some moral ground, fine, so be it. I don't care.
Right.
But you can't sit here and crucify Barry Bonds, although he never tested positive for steroids, and glorify David Ortiz
That
for the
was
same
dumb.
thing.
And I made a point on the show, I believe it was a Top 5 Tuesday a couple of weeks ago, that it's Boston media. Like, seriously, if you look at the way Boston media has treated Larry Bird, I mean, yeah, he was great when he played, but his career numbers are nowhere near everyone else. Bill Russell is called one of the GOATs, and he got smoked by Wilt Chamberlain every time they played. Tom Brady, sorry, Aaron, I know he's your boy, but let's be real. He's not very talented raw in terms of raw talent. And then you have Big Papi. Because of the Boston Marathon, he stood up for them. All of a sudden, he doesn't cheat. Boston media for you, man.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Boston media because the New York and LA media are the ones that really can sway situations here. But I mean, you have a lot of guys who I think Curt Schilling would ultimately be in the Hall of Fame if he didn't have political beliefs that didn't align up with most of the people that are voting for him. If Barry Bonds wasn't a media darling either, and so you're right. Yeah. I mean, he might be in there. I mean, there's no way you keep out the all-time home run leader, like for reasons other than you just dislike him.
Someone made the argument, and I'll leave it here for me, and you can talk about it if you want. Someone made the argument that Barry Bonds, while he's trying to slurp up and give his ESPN interviews and stuff during the game, it's they don't believe he's going to see it the Hall of Fame in his lifetime, which he obviously wants to. They feel 20 years or 30 years down the line when he's passed, then they're going to put him in. It's pretty sad because someone's going to put him in one day.
Well, it's not someone. I mean, that committee. I don't know if he would be falling in under I forget what the committee's called, but they have it in the NFL. They don't really have it as much in the in Major League Baseball. You have your set timeline to get in, and that's usually pretty much it. Well, the other question is, if they do that, then I feel like they have to posthumously do that with Pete Rose as well.
Pete Rose, I mean, that's not as bad as Curt Schilling, but that's up there with pretty stupid is why he's not in there.
I would say it's worse than Curt Schilling. Curt Schilling you're keeping Curt Schilling out for comments he made that you don't agree with. Pete Rose gambled on the game. That if you're trying to compare apples to oranges, Pete Rose has one of the worst infractions in baseball. However, in today's world where sports betting has run rampant, still doesn't make it okay for players. Calvin Ridley. You would think at this point posthumously, this guy might never die. He seems to be living on forever. But point being is, I think Pete Rose might posthumously get in, which or may not be unfair. But again, I don't know. I think Pete Rose has probably come to terms with he's obviously never getting in. So last thing I'll say on this is I hate to turn this to a negative thing, but congrats to Aaron Judge, number 62. You have the AL record, which you broke. Roger Maris, who's a former Yankee as well. So obviously you will now just, depending on what happens the next few years, or if you're a Yankee next year, you will live in Yankee infamy until someone breaks your record. So we'll have to see how that works. But congrats to Aaron Judge, and not to take this down a negative path. There is still a positive to take away from this, and that's 62 home runs.
That is pretty incredible. I mean, he has provided instant dividends. As soon as I remember him getting into Major League Baseball, he's been there, smacking home runs. So, gotta give the guy credit.
When he's healthy, he's a prominent player, and he definitely picked a great year in a contract year to probably win MVP.
Awesome. All right, Aaron, NFL Week 4 recap right here before we get to our college football in segment 2. So, 3 games that I've got for you. You can talk about other games you want. Chiefs beat the Buccaneers. That one went about as well as I thought it would because I figured, why was it only a 1-point favorite? And I didn't realize the Chiefs were going to do that to the Buccaneers defense, but Mahomes might be by far the best quarterback in the league right now. Bills beat the Ravens, and John Harbaugh. Oh, that was bad. That was so bad. And then Trubisky was benched, and Kenny Pickett came in, and the Steelers still blew the lead to Zach Wilson. Welcome back, Zach. Thoughts on those games, and then thoughts on others you might have.
So that Sunday Night Football game, you're right. I mean, I look at this situation here, and the offense all got going again in Tampa, but the problem was the defense forgot to show up and get off the bus. That was the calling card. Mahomes, enough of this bouncing back and forth between Lamar and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. He has been for years now. Like, enough of this crap. Every year we want to, it's the same thing that happened with Brady and the Patriots. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, this team's up and coming. No, they're the best team. Yes, they might get beat from time to time. They're the best team. He's the best quarterback in the league. Like, let's stop with this notion. Like, Josh Allen might win MVP this year. He's still not better than Mahomes. Point being is, when the Chiefs need the points, Mahomes gets them there. And despite the fact this is a big win for the Chiefs, I don't take it as a huge loss for the Bucs, because I am actually happy to see the fact that they were able to put up 31 points. And they hadn't been able to do that.
You saw my stock exchange. My NFL stock game, I actually had the Bucs as one of my trending up teams because of how well they played.
They did. I mean, despite the loss. But Bills and Ravens, we can point it all back to that last, not taking a field goal in that spot. But I have two counterpoints to this. You're up 20-3 in the rain.
Yeah, and you're the running team.
And you're the team that can run the ball successfully with your quarterback. Dobbins was having a decent game as well. How do you blow a 20-3 lead? Secondly, I understand that's probably a pretty putrid call to not take points and be up 3 points against the Buffalo Bills with, I think it was 4 or 5 minutes left in the game.
Right.
But I'm not absolving Lamar Jackson of throwing an interception in this spot as well. It was a 20-yard difference. I understand Harbaugh's decision. You go for it. You don't get it. You leave Josh Allen on the 2-yard line. Your defense is playing phenomenally. Your defense is playing phenomenally in the rain. That all being said, I think it was a bad play. It was a bad decision. Take the points. You have an automatic kicker, albeit in kind of ugly weather. You should take the points in a spot like that. If you're playing the Texans, you probably go for it. Against the Bills, you really want the points in that spot. And we'll move on. I mean, John Harbaugh has won, 2 Super Bowls? 1 Super Bowl? I think he's won 1 Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. And we give those Super Bowl winning coaches a little bit more leash and the benefit of the doubt. Look at the difference between the fact that we have moved on from this John Harbaugh decision, and the fact that we want Nathaniel Hackett's head on a chopping block. Not me personally, but a lot of people. I read a Facebook post from, I think it was ESPN, that had coaches on the hot seat. Nathaniel Hackett was the top guy with Matt Rule. I'm like, he's 4 games into his career, and I think they're 2-2. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're
2-2 because they beat the Raiders. Yeah. No, they lost to the Raiders.
They lost to the Raiders to make them 2-2. They're 2-2, and we want this guy fired. Calm down. He is navigating his way through new territory. As a first-year head coach to be 2-2 right now, I understand that they have Russell Wilson. They're also in a very tough division, and they have not won on the road. But let's pump the brakes on wanting to fire Nathaniel Hackett. Yes, it was a bad decision against the Seahawks, and they should have beat the Seahawks. But let's pump the brakes on that. Matt Rule,
ask Frank Reich and Mike Tomlin how they feel about 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tomlin was another guy on the hot seat. No, that's not happening. Mike Tomlin is not on the hot seat. Let's pump the brakes on that one as well. Your boy Trubisky, he got benched. Sammy Action and I talked about this on Monday after you guys did the show. The question really is who do you go to next game?
I think they already said it was Pickett, I think.
Have they named Pickett starter?
I'm pretty sure. Someone told me that. I haven't seen it.
I mean, my opinion, not that, was once you've made this move, you're 1-3. You're probably going to finish under 500 for the first time in Tomlin's coaching career.
Yep.
Just let Kenny cook. I said it at the beginning of the season, let Kenny cook. Even if he's worse, it doesn't matter. You are 1-3. And I think we talked about this. I think you're staring down Murderers Row in your division. I'm trying to look at their you're staring down.
Horrible.
Well, look at this. Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, Eagles, Saints, Bengals, Colts. I mean, you're staring down Murderers Row in your division. Let Kenny go for it. He's going to be bad. But he can never be good if he's never on the field.
Any other games?
Sorry, that's not a disrespect to Trubisky. Right. And I know you love Mitch.
I just don't like the way he's been dealt. I don't love him. I just don't like the hands he's been dealt.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been great either. And The thing is the benefit for Kenny Pickett is he didn't have to be great. There's no expectation for him right now. We don't know what to expect from Kenny Pickett. He is the first round pick, but He doesn't need to. I mean, it's almost, for me, it's a lost season for the Steelers at this
Oh,
point.
it is, yeah.
Looking at the other games, I got to give a tip of the cap to the Patriots for the way they played.
That
Bailey
was good.
Zapp. Maybe
Yes!
Bailey Zapp. I don't want to go too far here, but maybe if Mac Jones comes back and he's still not that great, maybe it's Bailey Zapp time in New England.
Mac did a good job in his last game, but obviously this one he wasn't available. But I do have to give Mac Jones credit. He looked really good in game number 3, I believe it was. 3.
I think he's looked pretty decent overall, except for the first game this season.
Right.
I'm not saying Mac.
He was more
is
mobile.
gonna
Like,
get replaced.
wow.
I'm not saying Mac's going to get replaced, and I don't think he's going to lose the job, even if Bailey Zapp continues to be, decent. But yeah, I think we got to take something away from Green Bay here, and they're just, are they able to, other than the Bears, are they able to really run away from teams like they used to? I don't think that's the case anymore, even at home.
I've said it, Aaron. It's concerning to me that Rodgers is not being asked to throw. I believe he's got 3 interceptions in 4 games, which does not happen to him. He also threw a pick 6, and that never happens to him. That's an issue.
I mean, as long as the offense is running for 200 yards a game,
Right.
You can't really be mad, or you can't say that they're inefficient. It's just, I don't know. I didn't expect a team with Brian Hoyer / Bailey Zapp leading the charge to be competitive with the Packers this week, and they were.
Any other games?
Nothing that jumps off the page. I mean, I listened to Action Monday. You guys did a great job of recapping it. Obviously, you go all the way back to the London game. We hit the over on that one. 4-1 on the AM drive for me, so I'm happy with that. Even though Andy Dalton, the funny thing is when I found out Andy Dalton was starting, I actually felt better about that over, because the Saints offense has been stagnant, to say the least, with Jameis Winston at quarterback, which is unfortunate because I like Jameis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not a lot going on. Raiders get their first victory of the season. We watched that game on TV at work, so congrats to the Raiders. Everyone in the NFL except for Houston has a win.
Yep. And Houston was close because they have fought for Lovie Smith, and Davis Mills has not been bad. But I mean, that was the story last year too.
He's been okay. Yeah, he's been all right.
Know.
But yeah, they're 0-3-1. Will they get a win? Well, hopefully we'll see.
Right. You ready for college football, sir?
I am ready for college football. I been reading up a little bit. I'll be honest, I haven't done a ton of research this week so far.
Wow.
With regards to it, but I figured today, I'm off today. I'll be taking a deep dive into the college football landscape, because there are some pretty good games here in week number, what are we in, 6?
6. And on October the 6th, we'll be right back, because when we come back, we're talking about those awesome games, including Jimbo and Saban. Woo-hoo-hoo. A lightsaber duel. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap, because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com. Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Welcome back to the AM Drive here on this Thursday edition. If you want the best in sports merchandise, memorabilia, and apparel, it's very simple. MikeandAaronDrive.com, that website that's right there. You go to that. You go to that big old F that's right there on the about middle of the page, and you do what with it?
You got to click the F, man.
You do, and that Fanatics Experiments is right there at your fingertips. Once you click that F, you can shop for everything until your heart's content. Your favorite player, your favorite team, your favorite league. Everything you want is all there. Merchandise, memorabilia, and apparel. Just click the F, MikeandAaronDrive.com. Shop Fanatics today. It helps out the show tremendously, and we thank you for that.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited for college football. I mean, there's some really low-key good games this week. And some nice storylines, too. All times Eastern. At noon, number 8, Tennessee. Number 25, LSU. In this game, Aaron, for me personally, by the way, the spread is at 3 in favor of Tennessee as the favorites on the road, and the total comes in at 65.
Mm-hmm.
To me, originally I thought Tennessee -3. I just thought, okay, give me the Vols. I feel they have the better, more consistent team right now. And I feel like, Brian Kelly's still got to get his guys in there. But to me, there's actually a chance that LSU does win this game. LSU beat Auburn on the road, who, if you actually watched that game, Auburn did pretty well in that game. And LSU also shut down Will Rogers from Mississippi State. And that's an issue to me for Hendon Hooker. Tennessee barely beat a not great Florida team at home. And week 2, they barely beat Pitt in overtime on the road. So I've got the under 65 for me personally here. I'm serious.
This is the way you went about that. I just couldn't tell what your plan was for that bet. So I haven't officially put together an AM Drive 5, obviously, because, well, we have pro games involved in that as well. So there may be some games we talk about today that I may actually give a lean or a like or a bet to that might end up in my AM Drive 5. So I won't reserve them. There is one game. Actually, I do have one official game in the AM Drive 5, and it is one game we'll be talking about, but later on in the show. So talking about this game specifically here, yeah, you're right. It's tough. The question really is how much of the week 1 loss to Florida State, coupled with Florida State's most recent loss to Wake Forest, is that what the lasting image of LSU is so far? And that was, over a month ago almost at this point. LSU has quietly gone back to a 4-1 record. They've creeped into the top 25, and it's been on the strength of their defense. So if you look at a spot here to take, it is the under. I do agree with you in that spot with a 65. A lot of the money is being poured in on that Tennessee -3 number. I don't know if I trust Tennessee to go into Baton Rouge and win a game with that crowd and that defense. So, yeah, I'd like to probably lean towards LSU plus the points here, but you're right. An under bet seems like a good way to go because I'm not sure that just in case the LSU defense isn't up to task, I'm not sure LSU's offense with Jaden Daniels or whoever comes in. I don't even know their backup quarterback. But the problem is that
Max
he's
Brennan,
left.
or is he hurt again?
Well, I don't know. Is that who it is?
I think so. Number 16. I
haven't watched it. I haven't watched enough LSU football to know who he is. But Jaden Daniels has exited the last 2 games with injury. So, if there's a track meet here, it favors Tennessee. I don't see it. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on the under in this spot.
And that was I know I went about it in like a weird and efficient way, but that was basically my thought process was that LSU at home, they've got to set the tone early. And even if they don't, I don't know if these teams can reach 65 in a track meet. So that's basically why I went.
Well, that's the thing. If LSU can even get into a track meet, I mean, if these teams can get 38-35, obviously we get there. But, I mean, I'll take my chances. If this game was at night, I would even love it more. But I don't think this game would be 65 at night.
That's fair.
LSU at night, Baton Rouge, Death Valley.
That's popping, yeah.
That's a tough place to play.
Agreed. Did you see the atmosphere for Clemson's game against NC State this past weekend?
I did.
That was insane. I've never. That would make me want to play at Clemson just watching that game. Like, that's so cool the way they get on the bus, drive around the entire block. Like, that's awesome.
There are still some traditions in college football that we like to hold on to, especially with the landscape of how college football is changing. Some of those traditions are still pretty awesome to see. I mean, the rock, I forget the name of the rock, but it's a rock from Death Valley that they run down the hill. I mean, there's still some awesome traditions in college football that we love.
Agreed. Known as well, number 17, Texas Christian University. That's TCU. And number 19, Kansas. And if you told me in the week 6 both these teams are undefeated, you're lying. You're lying. TCU is a 6.5 road favorites, 6.5 point road favorites. The total is 68.5. For this game, for me, I look at the fact that Kansas, I hate to do this, but they might be overachieving. I know they've got some good quarterback who transferred in there. But I got bad news for the football fans the Jayhawks have. TCU just shut down Dylan Gabriel, and that was before he got hit, by the way. And then, of course, the dirty hit did happen. Kansas just barely beat Iowa State at home. I feel like, but here's the thing that gets me about this game, though. Kansas is tied with Alabama for the most sacks this year. But then again, they both, like TCU also has a fairly mobile quarterback, although he's only run 23 times this year. I think Tennessee. I think TCU does win by 6 or 7, Aaron. But I'll go under 68.5 in the chance that Kansas's magic does continue. But I feel like the under here is safe as well.
Yeah, this is one of the games I've looked at so far, just because you're right. I mean, you look up and you see Kansas and you see 5-0 next to their name, and it's like, wow. I mean, I would have given TCU a better shot of being undefeated. Yes, they would have had to gone through Oklahoma, and of course they did. The way they went through Oklahoma really leads me to believe that you'd be buying TCU relatively high in this game. If it was in Fort Worth, I would say absolutely it's right to be 6.5 point favorite. I'm not sure I quite see the fact that Kansas, I still feel like the bottom might fall out of this thing. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, my bias or in Kansas history. Like right now, we shouldn't be expecting anything from Kansas, and everything we get is just an awesome storyline. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to expect with this one. Ultimately, I stayed off of it because I could see this game really, truly going either way. I could see Kansas, winning this game outright. I see that the least, but keeping this game close, heartbreak at the end. They lose by 4. I could see TCU just beating the hell of the brakes off this team.
Right.
I mean, I know what I saw. Kansas, Iowa State. I know that they're still averaging 40 points a game, despite only getting 14 against Iowa State last week. So ultimately, I think this is just a game, especially with College Game Day being there.
Yes, huge.
Ultimately, this is just a game where you should just watch it and enjoy it. But if you had to put a gun to my head, yeah, I probably would lay the points with TCU.
So another thing about this game, I'm glad I just checked this again. They're both undefeated against the spread as well.
Are they really?
Awesome.
Well, to be fair, if you're 5-0 Kansas, and I think at minimum 4 of your games you've been dogs, that kind of helps. Oh, and Max Duggan is TCU's quarterback, it looks like.
TCU also, never mind. TCU played SMU and got into a track meet. They played Oklahoma and got into a track meet. So the under might piss me off here, actually. I was originally going to lay the 6.5. I just didn't like the whole. It's almost like that's like a gimme spread, like because you're like, oh well, it's still Kansas even though they're 5-0. But it's like Vegas just begging me to just pull the trigger on 7. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, like, you look at Kansas, and like I said, it's a great story.
Right.
You have to look at their wins. I mean, Duke is a decent
It's bad.
ACC team. They're decent. They're actually a
This
decent ACC. I think that's Duke's only loss, actually, is to Kansas. Yeah. West Virginia. I mean, they got in a track meet with West Virginia. They got in a track meet with Houston. Houston's starting to look more and more flawed each and every week. Iowa State was probably their toughest test, and that's only because of the final score. They weren't actually that good of a team. So how good is Kansas? I don't know. Jalen Daniels has really energized this team, and I think they feel like they can hang with everybody. But, they're getting into, I would say, the meat of their schedule, and it's a real possibility that they're 5-4 in a month.
Enjoy while you can.
Yeah.
All right, this one, Aaron. Good Lord, this was like one of two things. Obviously, Texas A&M, Alabama would have been cool, but if this game, if these two quarterbacks were healthy, you might be looking at a spot where Texas is like in like the top 5, because let's be fair, I'll be honest, they would have beaten Alabama. I think even Alabama knows that if Quinn Ewers stays in that game.
Maybe so.
That being said, Texas is 7-point road favorites here. I believe the trend is that Quinn Ewers will play, like that's the word on the street. And Brent Venables, of course, is being a jerk and just saying, "Oh wow, no, Dylan Gabriel's going to play." I'm pretty sure he's going to play. There's no way. I mean, it's concussion, right? He'll be fine.
Well, he's in concussion protocol, and with everything that happened with Tua, I bet everybody's keeping a watchful eye on their quarterbacks right now.
I don't think they are. I think it's football. I hate saying that, but I think it's football in the end. So, this isn't your father's Red River rivalry. Is that what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm. Red River Showdown, whatever it is.
Yeah, this will be a defensive battle, in my opinion. I feel like Texas did good against Alabama. Oklahoma has got a defensive-minded coach, and their defense has picked up in the last couple of years. So this is under 64.5, but also hook 'em. Good morning. Good morning.
This is a tough one because when these teams get together, they put on a show. I mean, look at last year, 55-48 in favor of the OU. If Gabriel plays and he's quote-unquote at 100%, I have to take the 7 points here, I think. But as it stands right now, no bet for me. Currently, you can't – you're right. I mean, you can't play that total when we have games like this where, if Quinn Ewers, if the two starting quarterbacks play, they're going to be able to torch defenses and they play well,
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable being on any side right now.
So how about taking Oklahoma as a dog? Because let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you don't know who the quarterbacks are. I would say just take Oklahoma money line, just because right like 2 minutes before kickoff. Oh, by the way, Dylan Gabriel's playing, and now you get yourself a shootout, and now you got yourself an Oklahoma win.
Well, does Dylan Gabriel matter that much that he would move the line 7 points, no matter who starts at
it's a touchdown. Yeah, sure.
You think he move if Quinn Ewers starts for the Texas Longhorns and all of a sudden they announce Gabriel at the last minute? You think that line moves 7 points? I don't
think it moves. I'm just saying take the money line, because I feel like Oklahoma with Dylan Gabriel could win this football game. It's just a 7.
Sure, I think Oklahoma with their backup quarterback could probably still win this football game. There's so much talent around them, and like you said, the defense. I think absolutely he could still win this. Quinn Ewers. I mean, what we've saw. With the game against Alabama, that was nice. He kept them in it. Obviously, Hudson Card was the one who really almost defeated them. But we've seen a game and a half of Quinn Ewers.
I know.
I mean, is there enough there to say he's one of the top quarterbacks in the nation? I don't know. Maybe
he's coming there too.
It's coming there next year. I mean, Quinn Ewers, one of those guys is transferring here real soon.
Yep.
I don't know if it's Arch Manning. But all that being said, yeah, it's probably a lean on OU just to have points in this game. Yeah, this is a tough one, especially when you don't know who's going to go.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Oklahoma money line. Spring a little bit of Debbie Dew on it,
I'll throw a little bit on there with you just for fun.
Yes.
Because at +7, you're probably looking at, I don't know what BetUS says, but you're probably looking at maybe a 2-to-1 money line in that spot.
Woo! Don't tell
Maybe
me
a
that.
+175, 180, all the way up to 200.
Don't tell me that, man. I'm gonna have to killing it. All right. Auburn in number 2, Georgia. Boy, this game. Aaron, why should I believe for 1 second that Stetson Bennett is out of his 2-game slump? Like, this guy literally is missing people. It's like scary. Like, the first couple of weeks, I was like, wow, that guy's improved. He looks great. Then I'm like, did someone eat him? And like replace him with some. Seriously. So is this supposed to be a get right game? Like, we're giving Georgia 30 points here? Heck no. Auburn played LSU well, like I said. So they're obviously getting up for this game and prepared for it. No way, Jose, Georgia beats a rival by 30. That's just, there's no way, Aaron. I don't see that happening.
It's, again, like Georgia, I say this with all due respect, Georgia stinks right now to be betting on. I don't think they stink as a team, but right now they stink to be a part of at this point. And I didn't downplay your betting against Missouri because I said that. I was like, I want no part of Georgia, -28. However, they have run through Missouri since Missouri has joined the SEC. And I hopefully you bet Mizzou last week. I don't know what you bet last week, but there's no doubt in my mind that this Georgia team can swallow up Auburn.
Wow.
In terms of not giving them a minute to look. Who's the what's his name? Ashford?
Yeah, he did good last week in the first half, and they kept it close against LSU. So
that's fine. You're right. And the thing is that LSU was able to win a game against Auburn despite passing for like 80 yards in that game.
Ooh.
If Georgia is going to get back on the the wagon that we all know, because the offense isn't struggling, so to speak.
The run game is good.
The run game has been good. Stetson hasn't been great, but the defense has really been the one kind of giving up points here. Now, like we talked about last week, what do we make of this Kent State game? Do we just throw it out the window? I don't know. I mean, you're allowing Kent State 22 points when you had only allowed, 9 points all year?
And Aaron, you remember what Missouri did? Because remember we talked about what I made a comment that Kent State shows you could rough this team up. And what did Missouri do the next week? They roughed them up until the second half where Georgia said, okay, well, let's play physical now. Like, they roughed it up early.
I mean, you're right. Maybe Kent State put a blueprint out there for Mizzou last week, and maybe there's a blueprint for Auburn as well too. But I want no part of laying 30 right now. But it would not shock me if Georgia's get right game, because I mean they're gonna go to Vanderbilt, Florida, and Tennessee. Now Vanderbilt they're probably gonna run over as well, but Florida and Tennessee, Mississippi State and Kentucky, that's like I keep saying, the meat of their schedule. And if they're not right by then, we're gonna have may have the mighty fall at this point. I think there's Florida, but there's a pretty decent chance they don't get through that Mississippi State, Kentucky gauntlet there in that spot. So no bet, obviously, but it would not shock me if Georgia wins this game by 5 touchdowns, trying to get back.
Love it. Well, I like what you said. Like, don't do part of this game. You think the over would be good here, or no?
The over's only good if Auburn can score, because I think if Georgia gets right, I'll tack them up for 38 points.
Right, they might win 42-3 or whatever.
Yeah, so like I said, if they win by 5 touchdowns, it might be 42 to 7, 42 to 10 in that area. So I guess the over they'd be flirting with the over in that spot. So if Auburn can score, that's just such a big number, 30. How are they still laying? Like Vegas has to feel something in this spot, and I know that.
Let's lay it with them.
Nah, I'm not laying 30. I don't ever want to lay 30, even if it's Alabama versus Vanderbilt. I don't really.
Dude, that's what I'm wondering though. I hate to keep harping on this, but does Vegas know something that we don't? Like 30? Like after what y'all saw the last 2 weeks, 30? I don't know, man. Vegas got to know something, like you said.
It feels weird. Yeah, it's a funny line.
Woo! Utah, number 11. Number 18, UCLA. Chip Kelly against, by the way, Chip Kelly's got a team 5-0. Wow. Against Utah, who we all know lost to Florida. In a sense, I believe we're out of all 4 wins. But, they haven't been sexy. Just saying. Utah's 3.5-point favorites here. The total's at 64.5. Aaron, I think UCLA gets a win here. I got UCLA plus 3.5, but I'll do some sprinkle dinkle on the money line wrinkle there.
Not so fast, my friend. Yes, was last week's win against Washington a signature victory for Chip Kelly? Absolutely. There hasn't been a lot of signature victories for Chip in the 5 seasons that he's been in Los Angeles. Did I pick UCLA to win that game? Yes, I did. Do I think they're going to win this game? No, I do not.
Wow.
Do I think they're going to even be competitive in this game? No, I do not.
Wow.
I think Utah, everybody sees that Florida game, and they are down on Utah.
I know.
Cam Rising is a dark horse Heisman candidate. I think he's absolutely incredible. If you haven't got a chance to watch him play, now's the time because it's 3. You're getting a primetime game for this West Coast matchup. I think this game is Utah by 2 touchdowns. Give me the Utes to get into the top 10 with this nice victory. It's not a disrespect to Chip Kelly. I still think they've got a good team. They're just not quite there yet. And Utah, again, despite that tough game against Florida, which is looking worse and worse by the week, I understand. Utah gets a double-digit victory here.
It's funny, like you mentioned about the Utah-Florida game. Why is the college football you hang on to those like games like that? NFL, you just run right through it. You know why? Because college football, that one loss can kill you.
Well, not only that one loss can
people
kill
look
you.
at that week 1 thing like that.
Well, there's 2 things with the difference between college football and the NFL. First of all, the NFL, you can watch. You can watch, again, in college, you can watch every game. But in the NFL, at any given time, you can watch every game on some platform, some streaming, some TV or whatever. Also, the NFL parity is this. It has shrunk.
Yeah.
Again, the Texans are the worst team in the league record-wise, but they've been competitive with teams that, are playoff teams, and they can probably beat a playoff team if you catch them on the right day. With regards to college football, sometimes a Utah is only seen once by the Eastern Seaboard and by the people who write a lot of these articles. And a lot of that, too, is, how much stock do you put in a team that, like look at you. Like, how much stock do you put in a team that beat Vanderbilt 55-3 versus a stock that the team almost lost to Texas 20-19? You tend to weigh more on Alabama's almost losing than the fact that they've dominated every other team that they've played.
Right. Yep, that's true.
So you tend to hold on to a narrative based on what you've seen. Not you specifically. I'm just saying, like, how many games have you seen from Utah that aren't that Florida game? Probably none.
And Utah, here's a good argument in favor of you. How the fact that Utah went on the road against an SEC team and almost won.
Also true. They went to a spot where people don't win. Florida is a tough place to play. The Swamp's a tough place to play, even when they're not good. But you're looking at Utah, that tough loss. Of course they got right with Southern Utah, which you can throw that game out the window. San Diego State, they beat handedly. Arizona State, they beat, which ultimately it was what cost Herm Edwards his job, among other things. The big game that I see that really makes me feel good about Utah right now is, okay, you take Oregon State. Do you remember Oregon State and how they kept it competitive with USC? Now, we love USC because USC is fireworks and high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Oregon State kept them in check, and then Oregon State walked into Utah and got their doors blown in 42-16.
Wow, that's true.
So I'm really high on Utah right now. I think they're going to get through. I'm curious to see if they get through both LA teams. They got UCLA this week and they got USC next week. So
Cam Rising would have to be in consideration for Heisman.
If he has two
if he
good
does
games,
that.
I think we look at some Heisman talk because it's hard to get Heisman talk out of the West. It really
Because
is.
Stetson screwed up, man, and Bryce Young got hurt.
I mean, who's the Heisman frontrunner?
It was Dylan Gabriel.
You think so?
For me,
Or you?
Grayson McCall.
Oh,
How about
for
that?
you.
Grayson McCall.
Oh God, you serious?
Oh, come on. Who's been insane?
I mean, you look at it. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, the leaders in passing are from Washington and UTSA, Michael Penix and Frank Harris. Leading rushers are from Illinois and Marshall. Leading receivers are from Old Dominion and SMU. So, like, it's like
Be nice
there's no
to
real.
Old Dominion.
What's that?
Be nice to Old Dominion.
I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying, like, you know, you just don't have any of these big time college players leading the statistic categories here. So, well, you know, who's it going to be right now? It could be Cam Rising if he has a good 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. You know,
Cam is
he might be rising in the Heisman step. No pun intended.
We did pretty good. We both did that pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington State and USC, number 6 USC. It's funny they're ranked number 6 and they're never mind. USC is 12.5 point favorites, and the total is at 66. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Illuminati aside, Aaron, I've got USC minus 12.5 here.
Yeah, this one's tough. Washington State's actually quietly been playing
Decently.
decent football, although the fact they cannot hold on to the ball. That's kind of a problem. You know, that's kind of an issue, so to speak. But I kind of want to take that 12.5. I want redemption for Fresno State because I thought that was the one where I was going to get the cover for 12.
Dude. We got screwed.
Poor
Jake.
The question is can anyone keep one part of the offense in check for USC? Right now,
No.
their running game is good. Caleb Williams is passing well. If there's a team that can do it, it's Washington State. They do not give up. They suffocate the rushing game. So they can keep the rushing game. We have to put the game on Caleb Williams. How good is he? If that's the case, if that's the way it plays out, we'll find out maybe if Caleb Williams takes the lead in the Heisman
He might
race
be the
here
Heisman
at this
leader
point.
now that you mention it. That's a good point.
But again, it's hard for these West Coast players to get love.
Not USC.
Whether that's fair. Right. Well, USC is not Utah. Like I'm saying, Cam Rising, We're not talking about him. We're talking about Caleb Williams. Would we even be talking about Caleb Williams if Lincoln Riley wasn't his coach? I don't know.
Bingo!
I'm going to go ahead and pluck. This may or may not be on my AM Drive 5, but I'm going to take the dog here and try Washington State.
I think it'd be great if USC blew the doors off Washington State and then Utah came in there and beat them up next week.
Maybe. It would make for a good game. I don't think that USC is going to lose this game, but it would make for a good game if both those teams get a blowout this week.
Yeah. The Mormons and the Catholics. This is a good game, Mormons and Catholics. All that. BYU and Notre Dame. So unlike Oregon, Notre Dame has still looked like crap after their week 1 loss. They lost like 3 in a row, and then their offense picked it up the last 2 weeks. Blah. I'm gonna go with BYU as a dog in the win here, Aaron. I know you kind of were sour on them to start the season, but Mormons, Gatormouth, Catholics. How about that? That's so evil of me.
This one's tough. I actually don't necessarily agree with you in terms of with that Notre Dame's not playing particularly well. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that spot here, but for me, anytime you go into South Bend, it's always tough to get out of there with a win. I mean, don't ask Marshall because they seem to make it look easy, but I mean, they've got back off the schneid against Cal and North Carolina. I mean, they showed me 2 things in those games. I know they had a bye week the week before, but they showed me 2 things in those games that against Cal, they can play defense when necessary, and against North Carolina, they can get into a shootout. They can put up the points and that's it. I think Marshall, not Marshall, but what's the coach's name? Marcus Freeman. Yeah, Marcus Freeman. I don't love the hook here because I do think it's going to be a close game. So ultimately, I would be off of it. But for your sake, I'll root for BYU with you. Although I do think Notre Dame might win this game.
Here's a good thing. Ohio State had to rough it up in the second half in order to get by Notre Dame, if that helps you. And that was in Ohio State, right?
Yeah, that was in Columbus.
Yeah, so in Ohio State. But like,
It was in the state of Ohio. Yes, you're correct.
So I think Notre Dame might actually win this game by a milli.
How do you just flip like that?
You convinced me. Hi, puppy. Okay.
I don't even know how I convinced you. I'm not even sure I feel it. I just feel like I feel like the Ohio State game is okay. Like, I don't feel bad. I mean, they covered. The Marshall game looks bad. It does. It absolutely looks bad. But again, like I talked about Nathaniel Hackett, first-year head coach, getting his bearings. He starts out against Ohio State, and then he probably walked around campus thinking, "Oh, it's okay. We'll get Marshall." And then Marshall smacked him in the mouth. I think he's not letting that stuff happen again. Now, don't get me wrong. BYU is a fine program, and it's a fine team. It's so hard to walk into South Bend and beat them. I mean, like you look at BYU's wins, and I mean they beat Utah State, which you know how we feel about Utah State. And they beat Wyoming. The Baylor win was nice. Don't get me wrong. The Baylor win was nice. But they got trounced by Oregon. Yep.
And Oregon was supposed to, have a whole new thing in place, too. And Bo Nix said, splack.
How do we perceive Marcus Freeman if he beats BYU at home? Are we giving him a little more love?
No. I just think he can beat the Mormons. I'm sorry.
It's quite unfortunate. It would be a good win for him. It would be a good win for him. I'll give you credit, Marcus. I think you're going to beat him
by a milli. All right. Oh no, I won't do it. I won't do it. Okay. Texas A&M and number 1 Alabama. Hey, low hanging fruit here. Jimbo. Well, what's his name? What's his name? Jimbo.
Yeah, you really should stop doing this. You look like you're giving an exam.
Okay, okay, I got you. Listen, Jimbo and Nick Saban may not like each other, but I'm sure Jimbo then sucked up to him later on. So I'm so sorry I called you a bad boy. I don't like the 24 here, so I'm gonna go under 51 because I like the both. I think Texas A&M, although it was in College Station, they beat Miami's offense pretty good, and Miami. Their only argument there was that they didn't have the number 1 wide receiver, and Tyler Van Dyke looked stupid in that game. Alabama's defense can also play well with Big Will Anderson, really long, athletic dude who's going to be better than Trayvon Walker, so might as well be the number 1 pick in the draft. I got under 51 here.
I think that's a decent bet because if there's any way this game's going to stay close, it is the fact that Texas A&M would have to play stout defense against Alabama. Yep. Because Texas A&M's offense stinks.
Boom.
They are bad. Texas A&M's offense is no good, in my opinion. I understand what they did against Miami. Miami's looking worse and worse week to week here. I don't want any part of the spread. You know me. I'm either on Saban or I'm not betting that game. So, I like your 51 under, only if Texas A&M defense comes out and stymies, I love that word, stymies the Alabama offense.
Alabama's 4-1 against the spread. Not happy. Including against me, too. Okay, back to the rest of these games. This one's at noon. Number 4, Michigan and Indiana. I've got Michigan minus 22.5. Sorry.
I don't know. That's a big number to lay, but you're probably right.
It's on the road, but who cares? This one could have been good, but Michigan State stinks. It's number 3 Ohio State. You gave them 27. I don't know. But then again, what is Michigan State right now? They just got smacked around last week, right?
Yeah, Michigan State stinks. They have beaten nobody. They are regretting this Mel Tucker contract that they gave him. Probably
that was funny. We got hold of them for that one.
Yeah, they've got to be regretting that one. 27's a lot, but I would be leaning the side of Ohio State.
Must be a full moon in Las Vegas. Okay. Number 5, I'm sorry. Number 5, Clemson.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, oh, come on, man. Number 5, Clemson and Boston College. And you told me before the show you actually like this game. Why?
You know, it's going to be an interesting spot. It's on prime time.
Yeah.
It's the red bandana game for Boston College. And if you don't know what the red bandana game is, it's a game that it seems like Boston College always gets up for. Brief synopsis, the too long didn't read version is basically BC student Wells Crowther is one of the guys who back on 9/11 was able to save about 14, 15 people. And the lasting image of Wells Crowther was him holding a red bandana over his face to while he went into the wreckage, into the burning building to save people. So it's a game that Boston College really – oh, yeah, he died. He died that day. But it's a lasting image of what you saw of a BC alum, and it's always kind of stuck with BC. BC played – or UCF actually went up there one year and played BC, and I went to that game in Chestnut Hill, and just the atmosphere. And again, that was years ago, and I'd like to think that emotion still sits there with BC players and fans. All that being said, I think BC covers this number. I'm hoping it ticks up to 21.
Right.
This will be in my AM Drive 5. Boston College plus 3 touchdowns. Primetime game. I understand what Clemson can do. Trust me, I know that I'm probably higher on Clemson than most people.
But they just got 2 emotional wins.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they beat Wake in a tough shootout, and then they beat North Carolina last week in another one. It was North Carolina State. That's right, not North Carolina. North Carolina State, another tough, gritty game. Just give me the 3 touchdowns here in this spot. Primetime game. I think Clemson wins by like 10 to 13 points.
I dig it. And I also dig shaving cream pie bets and Colts Broncos. I mean, I don't dig Colts Broncos, but you get it. When we come back, we're talking about that stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Well, we didn't shut up today, did we? Make free picks against the spread every week in the NFL and college football to win cash money. Go to pick'emores.com/podcast. Support the show. You can also go to mikeandaarondrive.com and click the Pick 'em Mores logo, and you're welcome for that. Aaron, I really, really, really wish we could do Thursday games in AM Drive 5, but we don't do that until Friday and Saturday and Sunday games. But if we did, just know that my guarantee would be over 42. Russell Wilson finally got going last week, albeit in a loss against the Raiders on the road. And the Colts are finally getting healthy. I know Jonathan Taylor will play in this game, I believe, after having a
No,
scare.
he got ruled out yesterday.
What? Oh, forget it. But you know what? I do like the over in this game because I feel like Matt Ryan has been finally getting the hang of things. Michael Pittman and that guy Alec Pierce, what a great pickup he's been from Cincinnati. Obviously from drafting him in the second round. I like the over 42, Aaron.
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, like you look at the over in this spot because overs traditionally on primetime games haven't been there. But this total, what do you mean? No, they haven't. I think it's like 9-2. Oh, I think it was 9-2, and the only reason they got 2 is because of the Sunday night football game last week. No, Jonathan Taylor means the onus is on Matt Ryan. Like this is the game where Matt Ryan has to show us I deserve to be traded for and get rid of Carson Wentz. I'm not saying that Matt Ryan's been playing poorly, but he hasn't been playing great. That being said, like Denver, I know they lost Javonte Williams. They signed Latavius Murray from New Orleans off the practice squad to kind of spell what's his name, Melvin Gordon here in this spot. But I don't know where to go with this game. I really don't. I want to lean Denver. Just because they're at home on a short week, you tend to lean on the home team in this spot. But do I really want that hook? That hook scares me. I hate 3.5. I'd probably just take Denver money line in this spot. And if you really want this to be part of your AM Drive 5, I'll let you have it.
Nope.
Now he hates it.
But also Javonte Williams, shout out to him. He was close to a career-ending injury. I'm not sure what the update is on that, but it was not pretty.
Yeah, I haven't seen what's going on. I just know he's out for the season at this point.
Yeah, so. I wish we could play a song.
The final countdown?
Yeah. Episode 4.
What was the final score of that game? I know they didn't cover, but like it was close, right?
36 to like 24, whatever.
Well, no, that would be covering.
No, I had them covering.
Right. I'm saying 36 to 24 would be.
Yeah, minus 3.5.
Hold on, let me look.
Like but I said, if you can save me, by all means, look it up.
It's going to be funny if you actually covered. Like, hold on. What was Coastal Carolina, right? Yeah.
Yep, minus 10.5.
All right, hold on. Let me find their team. What conference are they in? Sun Belt? The Fun Belt Conference? Coastal Carolina. Yeah, it was 34 to 30. They did not cover. They only won by 4.
Whatever.
Sorry, I tried to save you. I knew that they weren't covering for a while, but I didn't know if maybe they backdoored a cover. So
this is not happening again.
You should make more bets. You're bad at it.
Thank you. Ooh, I need a countdown, sir.
All right, the final countdown. All right, tomorrow, Friday Football Frenzy. Don't forget about that. While Mike gets set up here, of course, we'll be talking all the NFL games as well. He wants to make another bet here tomorrow.
I do.
Including Kenny Pickett's first start. Is he going to make a shaving cream bet on Kenny Pickett's first start? We'll have to find out. All right, of course, our AM Drive 5 as well. So everybody out there, say it with me. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Surrender!
Get it in there.
Is that better this time?
That's awesome. You have like layers on you.
I actually blocked one of my eyes. That's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, don't forget, guys. Friday Football Frenzy, Cowboys, Rams. We've got Kenny Pickett's first starts against the Bills. Oh, that's going to go great. And, of course, our AM Drive 5 as well, as always, every week. Are we looking to go? We're looking to go 7-3 or better again like we did last week. So I am Aaron Crouch for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man there, Michael Carvella, saying enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We know this was a long show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, sure.